This is the Dynasty Market Report for Garrett Wilson. This is where we look at a specific asset in Dynasty Fantasy Football and we see where fantasy football managers are trading it. And we try to get a gauge of, can we get a small value win? Can we get in on the low end, or should we be getting out while the price is still high and production might not follow? And right now, Garrett Wilson fits that range of, I just want to hold him. as a person, as a little baby guy, I just want to hold him. But as a fantasy football asset, he's someone I want to be holding, because at the start of the offseason, I am looking for players that are value insulated. And I don't know that there's anything that could come out this offseason that would hurt Garrett Wilson's value. He's extremely talented, and he's really undervalued right now. I don't know that anything could come out that would bring his value down. If you think about hypotheticals, if the Jets said, we've acquired Andy Dalton to come in and be our quarterback, you would say, yeah, that's an upgrade. That's an upgrade. He'll be okay. I'm not going to dip his value. I might not move it up if they said they were bringing in Andy Dalton, but he'll be fine. Garrett Wilson is good enough. Dalton's good enough. That's the situation that the Jets are in. Their offense was abysmal in 2025, and they were just testing out players. Is Adonai Mitchell anything? Do we have anything with these other wide receivers? Garrett Wilson essentially benched in the last couple of weeks. Now, we don't know that for sure. He left with an injury and just didn't really ever come back, and probably could have if the team was contending. That is about what people think of him. We don't know that that's true. That is what I think, and I think that's what plenty of people think. So there's not really anything that could change for the Jets this offseason to make Garrett Wilson's value go down. He has a contract. The quarterback can't get worse. They have the second overall pick, and it's likely that the Jets draft a quarterback with the second overall pick. But even if they didn't, whoever they brought in would be better than the combination that they ran out there last year. So we're looking at a good spot for Garrett Wilson. If we pull up his value right now, it kind of shows that. Here he is at the start of last year. Here's summer, July, when they're in training camp with Justin Fields, and then they start to play games and he's doing okay. Then he gets injured, his value goes down, and then we've seen no change. It's kind of just hit a floor. His value as a crossover for other wide receivers is another wide receiver from the same class. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, in their draft class 2022, they were drafted back-to-back. They're both 25 years old, and they're valued about the same. They're both players that have gone through a lot of issues around them on their teams. Chris Olave had some issues with concussions, but also just had bad quarterback play. The Saints seem to have remedied that with Tyler Shuck, a player they drafted in the second round, who, when they drafted him, people didn't really think that much of him. I want you to take your mindset on Chris Olave. If you're negative on him at all, it's probably because of concussions and injuries. In general, we think Shuck is good enough. He can make this wide receiver with excellent talent thrive. And that's really all that the Jets need to do for Garrett Wilson, is bring in anybody decent. And they probably will. So if you're looking at just Garrett Wilson's value, I expect that it's going to go up a little bit as the Jets make draft picks, as they make free agent signings, as we see this offense start to get a little bit better. Garrett Wilson's value will rise up a little bit. And even if his trade value doesn't rise up, I think his production will. This is a player that has had 1,000-yard seasons with really not anyone at quarterback, and has shown that he has the talent to succeed, which is similar to what we had seen with Chris Olave. He had the talent. He just did not have the quarterback to get him to where he should be. So if you look at trades for Garrett Wilson, I think it starts to get a little bit more clear of where you can get in on this guy. Here's a trade that happened this morning. Someone sent Javonte Williams and got Garrett Wilson. This is a 12-team start 10 with a small tight end premium. I would much rather have Garrett Wilson than Javonte Williams. Someone sent Ricky Pearsall in a 27 first. That's about an okay crossover. Ricky Pearsall had a really bad year this year. We just haven't seen it from him in his first 2 years. And a random 27 first, we're not sure where that would be. That's about the price crossover that I would have with Garrett Wilson. I could see rebuilders sending Garrett Wilson for the random first and hoping that we get something from Ricky Pearsall without George Kittle next year. I could understand making that deal. Garrett Wilson in a 20 and a second pick, the 202 for 227 firsts and a third. I might just take Garrett Wilson here. That's about the price range. 2 second-round picks is about what you were getting JSN for last year. And Garrett Wilson is immensely talented. We could just get a decent quarterback that unlocks him going to the Jets. There's just upside here. And I don't know that he's going to really lose value unless he gets injured this year. And you get the second round pick that you can pair with another second round pick to probably get back into the first. I don't know that you would have to add that much to the 202 to get back to a 27 first. So you probably have something on your squad that you could pair with the 202 to just get back to a first, if that's the issue with you on that trade. Looking at other trades in the market, the 107 swapped to the 201 to go from Rice to Garrett Wilson. This one feels like why are we doing anything? I might just make the swap to get Rice and the 107. These players are very similar in my mind. Here's a deal where you can get into Garrett Wilson for Xavier Worthy, Isaiah Bond, and Juwan Jennings. I love that price. I think a lot of people really like that price. This is same scoring, 12 teams start 10. I think there are Garrett Wilson owners who just kind of want off. They don't want to keep waiting for this guy who they hear has a great talent to show up. So if you can get in for Worthy, Bond, and Jennings, I would be doing that. Here's a trade, Marvin Harrison for Garrett Wilson. Just give me Garrett Wilson. I've seen him do it. They both have quarterback questions going into next year, but I've seen Garrett Wilson succeed. So in that situation, I'll just take him there. Here's a trade, Garrett Wilson, 27 third for DK Metcalf and Chase Brown. And I might just take the Metcalf and Chase Brown side, because I think I can take DK Metcalf and turn him into the 111 this year, maybe a random 27 first, but I could probably get a 28 first. So Garrett Wilson and a throwaway third next year for Chase Brown and a future first. That's kind of how I'm viewing this trade, and I think I like that one. Would I trade Wilson for the 109 and 2 seconds in 2027? Possibly. If I have another second and I can pair these up and start sending these out for other things, like start putting names on these seconds. Can I send one for maybe add a little bit to a 27 second and get Derrick Henry, and then maybe pair a second with this 27 second and get Devontae Adams? Go from Garrett Wilson to a young receiver this year at 109, and then 2 other veterans to help me contend. That's the way I would view a trade like that. Here's one where I would take Garrett Wilson, JJ McCarthy for Garrett Wilson. I'm just reading these on the fly as I go. I don't know what JJ McCarthy's future is, but I do feel pretty confident that Wilson is good enough to be on a team as the lead option for years to come. We're just trying to get the quarterback to him. So you can get a value win, just like we did last year with Chris Olave. I know there were issues with concussions, but they got a quarterback to him, and he finished the year, and now his value is much higher. Last trade that we'll look at today, Garrett Wilson for the 110 and the 210. Give me Garrett Wilson on that one. I don't know that you're really getting anything at the 210 reliably. A lot of the times this pick just kind of becomes dust. If I can take the 110, the 210, and get to Garrett Wilson, I would be looking to do that. I think he just has upside coming in his future with very little risk of downside or going any lower in value. So we are at the end. We've looked at all the trades here. If this helps you make a trade or reassess your team, let me know with a like, with a subscribe. If there's a specific player you want to see covered on one of these, we drop a Dynasty Market Report every Monday through Friday throughout the offseason. We will start to recover players as things change. We're just going through players that have been eliminated from the playoffs to cover in January, February, and then as more news starts coming out, we'll pick things up. Maybe we'll group some players together during free agency. We'll see what happens. But if there's someone specifically that you're looking for, let me know in the comments. And thank you very much for making it to the end. We will see you in the next one.